where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
A revolutionary, and you're gonna have to keep on saying that.
Winston, I'm desperate to say that we tried. I remember being a child and hearing about this ring of priests that got caught abusing kids, and I had an expectation, and unfortunately that expectation wasn't fulfilled. Life continued as normal, and I had a disdain for really adults in general after that. I figured they were pathetic and cowardly. And I wanted to assure you that you would have real fighters in my generation, willing to take a stand. But I don't know if that applies to the majority of the population now. And now I remember how it felt to understand that you had to find a special corner where you could actually get the privacy to write in your journal out of view of the cameras that were installed in your room. I was horrified. And I thought that even though this generation may be misguided in many ways, there was no way that we would allow such a thing to take place. I'm making this message today because I am worried now. I woke up to news that the current president, who has risen by painting himself as an anti-establishment figure, is actively giving Palantir more power to construct a central database on all Americans. Palantir, a controversial tech company with no political allegiance, is a company that would be most likely, they would be voted most likely to manufacture the very telescreens that hold you hostage every day. If the world gets past this, Trump's willingness and ability to make a fool of his supporters needs to be studied.
Your tips will be 100% yours. Does this tax bill continue the payroll tax on people's tips?
Yes, it does, Mr.
Overtime. The president said your overtime will be tax-free. Does this bill continue the payroll tax on overtime?
It does not exempt overtime from the payroll tax.
The president said he's going to remove taxes on Social Security. Does this bill remove taxes on Social Security benefits?
The legislation provides an increased exemption amount.
But does it remove taxes on Social Security benefits as promised by the president?
It does not change.
But this is important. Total surveillance didn't just come from thin air. People didn't just all of a sudden decide that thought crimes would be acceptable. Despite the really broadcast and platformed politicians in the opposition party actually trying to really get everybody to blame Trump. I think Palantir and entities that would benefit from this idea of total surveillance, they were building this system well before. I think Trump is unique in his boldness, but the government has found multiple ways to accumulate and centralize power. Now, our political system is really designed for politicians to really accumulate drag load as they become more and more impactful and more into the spotlight. And eventually, the idea is they lose direction, purpose, and even morals altogether. Right? Many of the most popular applications on the phones that we carry, we trust them with our data. And many of the really corporations and the CEOs of these companies are only there because they're morally corrupt. They're working on ways to make sure there is no competition by purchasing other companies, and sometimes the government will arrest the CEOs and punish companies that do not grant them access to the data of people in general. Winston, I am sorry for being a part of the generation that even allows a leader to think that this is remotely acceptable. But I will not give up. I do believe that there are people who can and will do what it takes. To know that Palantir's signature product for really gathering and centralizing data shares a name with my dream project really makes me smile and makes me hopeful in a few ways. Because in terms of these two, I don't believe my foundry can coexist with Palantir's foundry. Now, divesting from the system has become too costly for many, and specifically the ones, the people who have really accumulated dependence in any way, shape, or form. But my foundry is really designed to really help make that option more valuable to people. And I really do think that there is a possibility that my foundry can help assure that the future generations will never know the world that you live in. And in any case, I'm going to make some recommendations now for my generation and what they can do to avoid the insatiable hunger of Palantir and these total surveillance entities. Number one, the comfort provided by technology is only to lure the world into the cage that Winston lives in. I need you guys to wake up and realize that much of what makes life convenient today is a trap. Two is to look into de-Googling your phone. it may be worth it to get rid of the SIM card and opt for using VoIP services, this VoIP services with mobile Wi-Fi routers. You guys can look into Calyx Internet, so that's CALYX, to really purchase mobile Wi-Fi anonymously if you can. If you are still really logging into Google or using your login, it's important to know that your location can still be traced, and this is due to your whatever kind of mobile internet that you may have having to connect to cell phone towers for service. It's different than traditional connections through, I suppose, SIM cards and cell phones that regularly send signals to cell towers, but it does provide the extra bit of security. And right now, there is no reason to believe that major cell phone providers will not give any data up. And given the options, I would really put my money on Calyx to protect data. Number 3. Start keeping multiple reservations of currency outside of the actual banks, right? And I'm not saying empty your account in one go, but begin to realize that specifically the big banks, they do not care about people, and they will turn you in. They finance weapons, war, oil, big pharma, and almost all of the weird tech guy ventures. Number 4, for those that don't know, Mark Zuckerberg will do any and everything for more power and control. The story of Facebook in China really stands as a tremendous testament to that fact. You can't assume that Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp may actually go to Palantir without even being asked. If you have to use these apps, I recommend that you try not to have them on your phone and look into alternatives like Mastodon. Number 5. If you are a CEO or owner of any company with any sense of morals, stand ready to be tested. Number 6, look into privacy-focused YouTube channels. Just 3 recommendations that I like in particular. 1 is Reject Convenience. 2 is Naomi Brockwell. And 3 is, I believe it's Rob Braxman or Robert Braxman, one or the other. And I'm spending time to really try to emphasize the names of a lot of these things because there won't be any links in the description so I don't get flagged. Also, I've heard people say, what's the big deal here? Because the government has always had our data. And I want you guys to understand something. The problem isn't whether the government has access to this data. It's the legalization of really combining and using this data to make spying more convenient and being able to openly target people. The danger in that thought of what's the big deal is the idea of really the frog. The frog in boiling water. If you haven't heard this analogy, if you put a frog in water that's already boiling, it'll just hop right out. But if you slowly increase the temperature, that frog will die, and without necessarily moving. And that is what that thought pattern seems to promote, really, honestly, if you really look at things today. And when it does come to Winston, I would like for you to understand that this was not a simple switch that these entities turned on and made the world this way. It was a network that was installed slowly and methodically over time, and hopefully this world that you live in doesn't come to being, honestly. And I really, really hope that everyone whom I share this generation or this planet with today will take a stand if they are able